Hello friends, I'm so excited you're here. Welcome to my channel. I have never made a YouTube video before. This is my very first one, but I'm so excited to share all of my creative projects here. Sewing projects, sewing ideas, using up scrap fabric, all sorts of fun and creative things that are close to my heart. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much, and let's get into it. Today, I really want to work on a project to use up a bunch of my scraps. So I'm going to be making my own textile by using a cotton, a sheer fabric on top, and then sandwiching all of my little scraps that are kind of unusable in the middle. It's a pretty time-consuming process, but the end result is so exciting, and you get to see all of these little glimpses of these adorable fabrics that would otherwise end up in landfill. Let's see how it goes. So to get started, I cut out my pattern from my organza, which happened to be an A-line mini dress that I drafted with a square neck at the back and also at the front. Then I lay out my pattern on my cotton fabric and just cut out the exact same shape, because this is just going to act as the lining to the piece. Then, with my finished pieces cut out, I gave them a really hearty press, although I probably should have done this before I cut them out. But you live and you learn, people. Okay, I'm up to the next step. I've cut out my pattern pieces, ironed them, and I've got my scrap box right here, and I'm gonna start wedging all of the scraps in between the cotton piece and the organza piece. Okay, this is a really fun part of the process, guys. I love getting to figure out the formation of where the fabrics are going, and then once I'm happy with it, I give them a really good press, which kind of acts as a temporary hold as you are pinning them so that they don't just slip and slide about. Also, I was gonna do just cottons, but I found these like scrap sequin materials, and I'm going to be chopping them up and putting them in the mix as well. I think it's just going to add a nice little bit of sparkle and interest. One of the things I love so much about this technique is that you don't really need to have much cohesion between the fabrics. It feels really hectic at the moment, but once you put like that sheer overlay on top, it kind of brings it all together somehow. I don't know how, but it does. I've just gone to the gym, had lunch, kind of like got into my comfies. I finished pinning my whole front piece, so I'm going to start sewing. I haven't decided yet whether I want to do just straight lines going across or maybe some like swirling design, but basically I'm just going to keep it like a half inch between each seam line, and hopefully that will tack down all of the fabrics really nicely. Yeah. This is the part of the process that requires the most patience. It is time consuming, but it is so rewarding. So I promise if you stick with it, it is going to turn out super cool. Okay, so I've been doing this for a while, and I thought I should mention that it does take a long time to get all of the quilting lines done and keeping them even and that kind of thing. I've gone for like a really wavy kind of design. I'll show you in a bit when it's done. Also, please know if you've got a domestic machine, that's perfect. I've usually sewn this on domestics, but I've just recently upgraded to my industrial machine, so yeah, I'm gonna keep using it. But you can sew on whatever. And if you do want to know anything more about my new industrial Juki, please leave me a comment or something, because I would be very excited to tell you all about it. It's literally my dream machine. Okay, so I finished the front portion of the dress. It's fully quilted. It took me about 2 hours-ish. I'm just gonna trim all of the excess threads, and then I'm gonna close up shop for the day, and I'm gonna get back into it tomorrow. Good morning, it is the next day. I'm going to repeat the exact same process on the other side of my dress. So I'm going to put all the patchwork down, iron it, pin it, quilt it, and then I'm gonna start the construction of the dress, so putting both sides together. I think I'm gonna do like a facing around the neck and maybe like a bias tape around the armhole, but I'm not exactly sure because maybe I want sleeves. The other thing I've been thinking about is adding like a big ruffle around the bottom, which is also a bit much, but I just wanted to say, if you're making something like this with me, or even just making this textile for one of your own designs, I cannot recommend having a pair of snips nearby enough. There's so much snipping of thread because every time you do a little design, you have to like backstitch and like, you know, snip the thread and start again. Also, I'm literally so excited for this process to be done. Oh my gosh. Second part of the dress. I'm so happy. That felt like my Everest somehow. So I finished the front and the back, and this afternoon I finally get to put the dress together, and I really hope it looks good because I actually haven't made anything of this pattern before. I kind of just did like a simple A-line dress kind of vibe, but I think that if you wanted to make this textile and like use it for projects, it would be good for stuff that doesn't need like much gathering, or it's got more structure to it, you know? Anyway, I thought I would just chat a little bit. If you don't know me, my name's Carly. I have been making clothes and selling them online since like 2021. I started off crocheting, and then I got into sewing in the summertime so that I could still potentially make money, and then I just absolutely fell in love with it. Okay, check out these babies. They are ready to be constructed and sewn into the dress of my dreams. So here I am just putting both sides, right sides together and pinning them across the side seams and the shoulder seams. I sewed a straight stitch down all of those seams and then overlocked them as well for extra protection, but you could just use a zigzag stitch, and then I pressed them so that everything would lay nice and flat. To hem the dress, because it was quite a chunky fabric, I overlocked the hem, turned it up once, and then did a straight stitch along the whole hem. Then I just gave it a really good press, and I find that is a great finish. And you don't break too many needles this way. Okay, so I just finished the basic construction of the dress and the hem. I decided to just turn it up one time and just overlock this edge here because taking it up 2 times is just going to make it too chunky. The fabric itself is pretty sturdy and thick. It kind of feels like it would be really good for a jacket or a bucket hat or that kind of thing. You may break a few needles if you're sewing over sequin fabric. Like me, but just continue to persist. I haven't had any needle breakage on my industrial machine, which has been really cool, but in the past I have had a few mishaps, so just sew carefully once it gets to this kind of thicker stage. Now I'm just going to do the facing for the top of the neckline, and I'm also going to finish up the armholes with some bias binding. And I'm just going to cut that out on a diagonal on my fabric that matches this pattern, and that's going to create some cute bias binding. Okay friends, if there is one thing in sewing that you should start doing, it is making your own bias tape. It's so easy and quick, and it's really satisfying when the fabric of the tape matches the fabric of your project. Don't even get me started, it's so awesome and you'll save heaps of money as well. All you have to do is just fold it in once and then fold it in half again, and you've got your very own homemade bias tape. Also, I kind of rushed through the process here, but I'll link some really good tutorials down below about how to use bias tape and neck facings to finish your garment. She is finally done. I'm so excited. I'm going to just do a little bit of styling, a bit of hair, a bit of makeup, and then I'm going to put her on. Yeah. Okay, we are all done. I'm so thrilled with the finished product. I think it's so beautiful and original, and you can have the potential to use a lot of fabrics that have meaning to you and history to you. So I think it's a very special technique. I have had an absolute ball with you guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in more tutorials or sewing and crochet content, please be sure to subscribe and like this video. And if you have any questions at all, be sure to leave a comment and I'll do my very best to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you and see you in the next video.